coming back to so as of now, what we have discussed about the rules and the regulations which are prevailed in the international trade. So the rules like taking care of the blocked members, or taking care of the blocked countries, or taking care of the licensing requirements, or taking care of the documentation requirements. So that means when you are doing a business internationally, when you are participating in, when your company is participating internationally, like in export or import, then what need to be done? So as part of international business or export business or import business, you have a requirement to overcome different regulations, different rules. The regulations will be like need to make sure that you are not sending any export to the blocked members, or you need to make sure that you are not receiving any product from the blocked countries or blocked members. In the similar way, you need to make sure that you are not sending any goods to the customer whose country in the blocked list, and also you need to make sure that you are not receiving or you are not importing any product from the member whose country in the blocked list. That means you have a requirement of taking care. You have a requirement of take care of sanction party list, and also you have a requirement of taking care embargo list. In the similar way, you have a requirement of taking care of license activities or licensing requirements. And also apart from these three things, we have one more requirement called taking care of documentation requirements. So whenever these kind of requirements, whenever these kinds of regulations are in place, then what you need? You need a help of a system which is having the capability of supporting all these rules and the regulations. So that means whenever you use the SAP GTS, if you use the SAP GTS module, the GTS module can help every company to support any kind of regulations which are prevailed at this time. SAP GTS module is always updated. That means they keep introducing new functionalities. SAP SAP keep introducing new functionalities to the SAP GTS module to support each new rule which was introduced to the international market. So I mean to say that if any rule, if any new regulation has introduced by the international authorities or international customs authorities, so SAP is ready to improve the functionalities of their application area to support all the new requirements. If some new rule is introduced by the customs authorities, what happens? SAP is also ready to modify the existing functionalities to support the new rule. So that is the reason, after 2001, SAP introduced the many versions to the market. I will explain you in the coming few slides. Okay, and few more things what we need to discuss about the GTS module. The GTS module is a standalone module. The GTS module is a standalone module. It is not inbuilt of SAP ECC. I mean to say that it is not inbuilt of SAP ECC in the sense, if you think about SAP SD, it is inbuilt of ECC. If you think about SAP MM, it is inbuilt of SAP ECC. Likewise, if you think about SAP for finance, SAP plant maintenance, or SAP production planning, or logistic execution or logistic general, these are all the modules which are inbuilt of SAP ECC system. Whereas SAP GTS is not inbuilt of SAP ECC, it is a stand-alone system. That means it is always comes with different server, or it is always comes with the different system. At least SAP recommends use different client for the SAP GTS system. That means if you the first better the preferable solution, the preferable best practice given by advised by the SAP is use two different servers, for one server for the SAP ECC, one server for the SAP GTS. If in case you are not able to maintain two different application servers for the two modules, what SAP recommends, if you would like to use only one server, then SAP suggests use different instances. That is, use different clients. Use different client for SAP GTS and use different client for SAP SD or SAP ECC. So here you may have the doubt. Why do we need why are you talking about SAP ECC? When you are discussing about SAP GTS, what is the importance of discussing about the SAP ECC? Can anybody tell me? Is anybody having any idea about it? Why do we need to discuss why do you need to touch or why do you need to consider ECC as part of discussing the SAP GTS module? Okay, I can tell you. Basically what happened, SAP GTS, as I told you, it is a standalone module. We cannot create any sales order, or we cannot create any delivery, or we cannot create any purchase order, or we cannot create any inbound delivery in the GTS system. But you may have the doubt. Then when you are not able to create order, when you are not able to create purchase order, when you are not creating a sales order, when you are not creating a inbound delivery or outbound delivery, then what is the use of SAP GTS? You may have that doubt. So the importance of the use of SAP GTS is, what it takes. It gets the data, okay? SAP GTS gets the data from the ECC system, okay? It gets the data of SAP sales order, SAP deliveries, or SAP purchase order, or SAP inbound deliveries. It gets the data of SAP ECC, and now what it do? It it gets the data of ECC and it starts screening in the GTS system. So that means, let me tell you like this. For example, let me take an Excel so that you will be having more. Okay. So assume this is a let me make it in line. So this is SD system, ECC system. It is okay. And before I explain ECC and GTS, I'm not sure how many of aware I hope everyone is aware of ECC. Just still let me take 2 minutes to explain. Basically, SAP is having modules called core modules. Core modules. SAP core modules means SD. Okay, Ashish. Sure. Sure, we can wait for a few minutes. So Ashish, is it okay? Hello Ashish. Okay, good. Okay, SAP is having a different kind of modules. Those modules are core modules. Core modules in the sense SAP SD, let me take for example. So what we can say, core modules. The core modules are ECC modules, SAP ECC modules like SD, MM, F5, or controlling FICO, or what I can say, PP, or plant maintenance, or logistic execution, or logistics general. So these kind of modules are part of the core modules. In the similar way, SAP is also having new dimensional modules. New dimensional modules. So like new dimensional modules means, okay, like SAP CRM or SAP SRM or SAP SCM or SAP GTS kind of thing. So these modules are called new dimensional modules. And even other than these modules, SAP is also having industry specific modules. Industry, no, SAP GTS does not sit in ECC, but you can see a GTS area, but it is not actual thing. It is just dummy one. It is a replica of what you are doing in the GTS system. Even though you can see SAP GTS in the ECC side, it is just dummy. You did not do anything in the GTS ECC side for the GTS module. Each and every activity what you are supposed to do, it has to be done in the GTS system side, which is in the separate client or the separate server. Okay, Ashish? Okay. And then what are the third category? It is industry specific modules. So what are those modules, industry specific? The industry specific modules 1 minute, just let me format this. Okay, the industry specific modules are IS, oil, or IS, industry specific retail, or IS, banking, or IS utilities. Like this, SAP are having industry specific modules. So that means SAP is having three different kind of modules. Those are ECC module, core modules like SD, MM, FICO, PP, PM, LE, Logistics General, and it is also having new dimensional modules like SAP CRM, SAP SRM, SAP SCM, SAP GTS, or FSCM as well. And in the similar way, it is also having different modules called industry specific modules. And coming to this, so the ECC, you cannot see a CRM module in the ECC system. You cannot see SRM module in the ECC system. Then what does it mean? All these new dimensional modules or industry specific modules exist in a different server. The industry specific modules or the new dimensional modules are existing in a different server. Those are not part of actual ECC content. It's not part of the ECC. So whenever you are dealing with any kind of new dimensional modules, what happens? So does anybody having any idea of GATP? I hope you might be some of the people might be aware of. There is a module called SAP APO GATP. What it does? It takes the data from the S3 module of ECC system and it does the planning, like availability check planning at a global level and send the results back to the ECC system. I mean to say that the SAP SCM APO GATP module, what it takes. Basically, when you think about SAP SD for the availability check, in the ECC side, the availability check can be done, the availability of the product, the availability check of a product can be done at one plant level. If you have 10 plants, the ECC system, the ECC SD module cannot check the availability of the stock at all the plants. It cannot check the stock availability at all the plants. SAP ECC system, ECC SD module can only do the availability check at one plant level. Whereas if you implement SAP APO GATP, what happens? The GATP module, what it does, it takes the data from the SD module, takes the sales order data from the SD module, and the APO module, APO GATP, do the availability check at different plants. If you have 10 plants, the system can do the availability check at all 10 plants. That is the planning at global level. That is GATP, Global Availability to Promise. Performing the availability check globally. That means performing the availability check at the global level, all plant level, and send the feedback and again send the feedback to the SD module. In the similar way, what a GTS does. So whenever you create a sales order, in the ECC system, what happens? As part of export regulation or as part of import regulation, whenever you create a sales order or whenever you create a delivery, whatever it is, as part of export regulation, what needs to be done? You need to make sure that your customer in the sales order should not, your customer name in the sales order should not match with any of the sanction party list members. For example, take an example in the down. For example, if you have the sanction party list, SPL list. This list contains Venkat. The sanction party list means blocked list. SPL, sanction party list means blocked list. Sanction party list means prohibited party list, or the sanction party list means the banned member or denied member. The list contains Venkat, or the list contains Varun, or the list contains, these are all the bad members, or the blocked members, or Pradeep, or maybe take Bala and some other Krishna. We have 5 members in the sanction party list. So as part of it, as part of our rule, if you create a sales order, if you create sales order in the ECC SD module, if you create a export sales order in the ECC SD module, what happens? The sales order you create for a customer. You create a sales order for a customer called Vinay. Create a customer called Vinay. You created a sales order that is 1 to 300004. This is the sales order number. You created a sales order for the customer Vinay. So as part of the rule, as part of the sanction party list rule, the sanction party members rule, as part of publication of the bad members rule, as part of that regulation, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that the customer in the sales order 30004 should not, the name of the customer Vinay is not matching with any of the blocked members. Is the Vinay name is matching with any blocked members? Ashish, is the name of Vinay is matching with any of the blocked members? Okay. Maybe Bala, is the name of the Vinay is matching with any of the blocked members?
No.
So that means?
No, it is not matching.
Okay, it's not matching. Then you know what happens? Okay. Let me tell you. You created a sales order in the SAP ECC and this sales order will be transferred to the SAP GTS system. This is assuming that SAP GTS. Whenever the sales order transferred to the SAP GTS system, what happens? We have a list of all the blocked members. We have a list of all the bad members here. You know what the system, the GTS system will do? Whenever the sales order comes to here, so you don't get confused. It will create the other document called like 22245. It creates a custom document and it takes the data of this customer and tries to screen whether this customer Vinay is matching with the SPL list. So where the screening will happen? The screening will not happen in the ECC system. The screening will only happen once the sales order transferred to the GTS system. Then the GTS system start screening. The GTS system starts screening of the Vinay by against the GTS system start screening with the screening of the customer Vinay against the blocked members. In this case, what happens? There is no match. The Vinay name is not matching with the sanction party list member. Then what happens? The system will not put any block to the sales order 3004 in the GTS side. It will not put any block. Now I am giving an example, other example. That is, I am going to create one more sales order. The sales order number is 3006. I am going to create one more sales order with the customer Venkat. I created a sales order with the customer Venkat. What happens? Whenever you create a sales order with the Venkat, what happens? The sales order 30006 has to be transferred to the GTS system, and according to the rule, what happens? The GTS system has to be create a custom document assuming the 2008, and what happens? The GTS system takes the customer name from the 20008 and starts screening against the sanction party list. So in this case, in the second sales order, is the name of the Venkat matching with the sanction party list? Bala, is the name of the Venkat matching with the sanction party list? Yes. So then what needs to be done? As per the rule, the GTS system should block the document 2008. It gives a red signal. That means it blocks the custom document which is associated with the sales order. That means like sales order 3006. For every sales order which you created in the ECC system will be having an associated document in the GTS system according to the configuration. But based on the configuration, the GTS system will create a custom document, and the GTS system puts the block to the document if any of the customer name is matching with the sanction party list members. So this way, what happens? The transactions are creating in the ECC system, but the screening will be done in the GTS system. So this is the same process for each and every regulation, for each and every export regulation. Each and every export regulation, the ECC system provides data to the GTS system, and the GTS system do the screening and send back the details to the ECC system. So this way there is an integration. Between SAP ECC and
Venkat, here I have one question.
Tell me, Ashish.
This is Varun.
Varun, tell me, sorry.
See, can we have a screening on address of customer?
Yes, it's a good question. Okay, just an example, since you are in we are in the very initial stage, very first day, I don't want to take much space due to the reason that we are taking care of overview. I just giving an example with the name, but as part of the sanction party list screening, STL screening, system not only screens with the names, the system also takes care of, also screens the customer name, and also it also screens customer name against the sanction party list names, or system screens customer address with the sanction party list member address. That means you need to instruct the system what elements it has to take into consideration. Whether you would like to take into consideration only name, or you would like to take into consideration phone number, or you would like to take into consideration of country, or you would like to take into consideration of city. You have to instruct the system as part of the sanction party list screening which address elements you wanted to take into consideration for the sanction party list screening, that you have to define as part of your SPL configuration. As part of sanction party list configuration, you have to instruct the system which address element has to be taken into consideration for the screening of business partners against the sanction party list member. It is a good question, but the reason for I'm not covering here, they are very base level. That's why I didn't go that much. Okay, Varun?
Okay, one more query. Venkat, one more query. See, as of now, we discussed only customer level and country level back.
Okay.
Yes, but my requirement is in a material level back. How that can be mapped?
Okay. Basically, a material level block can be done as part of embargo. What you can do, you can specify which material and which country you would like to block. You will be taking care of the material level block along with embargo check. Basically, embargo check is taking care of country, and also if you would like to add a specific product and a specific country, you can achieve that functionality with the help of that embargo.
Okay, Venkat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then coming back to I was actually telling this one. So here this is ECC system. Okay. There is a question from the Ashish. If the customer name is Vinay Venkat Limited, what happens? Okay. Ashish, we have a functionality called the match percentage. So in the if I go to let's open SAP screen, we have a functionality called specifying the matching personality, matching percentage. So that means when do you want to put the block? If the matching is more than 60%, or if the matching the name of the matching percentage of the name of the business partner, or match percentage of the name of the the sanction party list member. Okay. So at what level of matching you would like to block? So 1 minute, I will open the screen so that you can. So as part of SPL configuration setup, we go to the compliance management, sanction party list screening. So So here we can specify like what kind of what level of percentage you are trying to match. So for example, if we specify like 100%, the system only puts the block to the business partner if it exact matches with, for example, your customer name is Vinay Venkat Limited. If there is a business part, if there is a sanction party list member with the name of Vinay Venkat Limited, then only the system puts the block. So if you specify 90%, it takes the total number of words, the total number of letters in the business partner, and the total number of letters in the sanction party list members, blocked members, and it tries to take the what percentage is matching. If it is matching more than 90%, then the system puts the block. If the percentage matching is not more than 90%, what happens? System will not put the block. So that you have to decide as part of getting the requirement or collecting the requirement from the business process owners. They will tell you what percentage they would recommend. But they wanted to do the screening based on 100% match, or they wanted to do the screening based on 80% or the 90%. We will cover in detail as part of the sanction party list screening in the coming session. Okay, Ashish? And go back. Okay, this is basically like an ECC system, and this is assume that this is GTS system. What happens as part of the integration? That means whenever you are using the GTS, that means you are always using a fader system. In general, 99% of the cases, a fader system can be ECC system. If you want to use any other system as a fader system to GTS, you can still use it. But 99.99% of the cases, the fader system for the GTS system is ECC system. So this is the ECC system and this is the GTS system. What happens? Whenever you create a sales order, okay, sales order, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, sales order 1, 2, 3, 4, and it transferred to the GTS system, and what happens? The GTS system creates custom document at sales document level, SD level. So with the number, for example, it can create a number called 5678. That means each and every sales order which you created in the ECC system, it should transfer. So we can use an RFC functionality. We can use RFCs. To transfer the data from the ECC system to the GTS system. So that what happens, whenever you create a sales order, the system immediately in a fraction of seconds, it transfers the GTS system and creates a custom document called 5678. You may have the doubt how the system automatically creates. So the RFCs just transfer the data, but here in the GTS system, we need to do document mapping. We need to tell to the system at what sales document type from the ECC is associated with what custom document type in the GTS system. That means we need to do document mapping. We not only do the document mapping, we do the organizational units mapping, we do the partner mapping, we do the document mapping, and we also do some additional mapping functionalities. So whenever you do provided by doing all those things, whenever you create a sales order, the GTS system automatically creates a custom document at sales document level and gives one number, and then the system starts doing like SPL screening. SPL screening means like sanction party list screening, and also it can do the other like screening, embargo screening, and also it can do like license determination. So whenever you create a sales order from the EC system and the GTS system the RFC connections transfer the sales order to GTS system, and the GTS system create a custom document, and also GTS system start performing the screening of screening, embargo screening, and the license determination. In the similar way, whenever you create outbound delivery, what happens? The GTS system creates a custom document at delivery level, and again the system start seeing all these three functionalities. And also whenever you create purchase order, whenever you create purchase order in the ECC system, what happens? The GTS system creates custom document, okay? Custom document at purchase order level, PO level, and it starts performing all these three activities. In the similar way, whenever you create a inbound delivery, so inbound delivery, you know that, right? From input side, we will be having inbound delivery. We are receiving the products. Whereas SD side, we are sending the products. Okay, the reason is Ashish is asking a question. Whenever you are doing the screening at sales order level, why do we need to do the screening again at the delivery level? I can tell you. Whenever if you create a sales order today, you created a sales order today, but you are going to create delivery after 5 days, after 4 days, maybe tomorrow. But what happens? Do you feel that the sanction party list is always same? Do you feel this list is always same, or it can change? Do you all feel this list is always same forever? The bad member list is same? No. It would get updated. That means the sanction party list is keep getting updated. The person who is good today may be bad tomorrow. As of now, Venkat may not be the list part of sanction party list. But what happens? Tomorrow, the government of US can publish Venkat's name under the blocker list. So in that case, if you just do the screening at sales order level, so while doing the sales order screening, while doing the screening at the sales order level, what happens? You are doing the screening today. As part of today's screening, your sales order will not be having any block because Venkat is not part of blocked members list as of today. But tomorrow, Venkat is updated. Venkat is added. Venkat's name has been added to the sanction party list. You are going to create a delivery day after tomorrow. What happens if you don't do the delivery? What happens, Ashish? So there is a possibility that you will be doing delivery to the customer who is under the blocker list. So the system, what happens? The system, the customs authorities will find out that you are trying to do the export to the customer who is under the blocker list, and they will put the use fine or use penalty. So that you need to make sure that to whatever it is possible, you need to make sure screening of each and every document while creating and also while changing. In the similar way, the GTS system also takes the data of business partners like customers, vendors. It takes the data of customers, it takes the data of vendors, and it screens all those customers and the vendors. If any customer or any vendor name or any vendor address or any customer address is matching with the sanction party list members, the GTS system puts a block, and the compliance coordinator has to come to the picture. He needs to validate the block, why the system puts a block, and he needs to take the necessary action in that regard. So this way, for each and every transaction, what you do from the ECC side, it has to be transferred to the GTS system, and the integration GTS system and the GTS system perform screening of SPL, screening of embargo, screening of licenses. In the similar way, whenever you create a pro forma invoice of the billing document, the GTS system will create a customs export declaration document. So we will discuss in detail about that part. So this is basically what happens, it is basically how the GTS system works, how data is created in ECC and how it transferred to the GTS, and what happens when the GTS when the data transferred to the GTS, what kind of screening activities will done. So this is one level. Maybe we'll continue to discuss the same overview tomorrow. We will continue to discuss the GTS overview to the tomorrow session. Not the tomorrow, as I told you, tomorrow we will not be having the session, but we will be having session on the day after tomorrow. Please remember, we will be having alternate day. for just like 1 week, but after 1 week onward, we will be having every day like 1.5 hour session. Probably Monday onward, we will be having like every day till like like Sunday, you will be having.
Do we have classes on Saturday, Sunday also?
Actually, initially I may not take the classes on Saturday and Sunday, but maybe like after 20 days, that time I may recommend. I mean, I would like to take if like everybody is okay. Okay. Any doubts as of now?
What about server access?
Okay. Server access will be provided for period of 1 month, and we will get the server access maybe in few days, like maybe like 4 or 5 days after. Once we get into the actual configuration, once we finish the overview, and once we finish the the export terminology and export process. Actually, what I used to do, I used to explain the scenario, what happens when you are exporting from country A to country B, and I used to explain and what kind of actions need to be taken care by the SAP GTS system. Once I finish overview and scenarios and export terminology, then we will start each and every application area of SAP GTS, and then that time we will be giving the access. You can start doing the practice. Okay, Bala?
Okay, Venkat, thank you.
Okay. Any other doubts? You can ask me sometime.
Yeah, Venkat, after this training session, could we extend this server access? Okay?
Actually, we are generally paying server access to the providers who are in Hyderabad.
Okay.
It is not our own, but I will try to extend it possible. But usually they are very particular. But we will try to do that. Maybe after finishing, after 1 month, I can try to provide the shared library. Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Because two members we can have some understanding, and so that we can minimize the expenditure.
Okay.
But for the first 1 month, we will give the server access for the individual members.
Okay. Thanks, Venkat.
Okay, no problem. Welcome, Ganesh. Bala. Okay. Any other doubts? Deepak, are you fine? Deepak? Deepak, are you there?
I'm fine, Venkat.
Okay. And Asif, any doubts?
Yeah, Venkat. I am fine. I want to talk to you, but not now. Probably tomorrow morning for you. Good evening.
Okay, sure. I can call you, Ganesh. I can call you, Asif. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Nitin, how about you?
No problem.
Okay. Thank you for participating. Please remember, as I told you, tomorrow we will not be having any class, but we will be having class on the Friday. Okay? We will be having class on Friday. Probably Monday onward, we will be having class every day. Okay? Just for this week, I may need to take day after day because I am about to finish classes for the other batch. So that is the reason I am taking alternate 2 days. But once I finish the that batch by weekend, probably we can have the classes every day. Okay? So please provide I hope I have everybody's number. If you have any concern, just ping me or just send me email so that I can call you to clarify those doubts. Okay. Welcome, Ashi, and thank you for participating, everybody, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Venkat.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, Venkat.
Okay. Bye.